What's happening, everybody? Welcome to AMKA Podcast. If you're new here, please hit that button, subscribe, activate the bell notification so you cannot miss one of my video. Every single day I do upload. Now we're talking more about Africa and the trending news that's going on in the world. And of course, it's enlightening, educational, and entertaining. So, you know what I'm saying? So hit the button, subscribe, activate the bell notification, and let's go. Okay, so the Western trying to kill Ibrahim Traore, and they've been giving some Burkina Faso soldiers, like the guards of Ibrahim Traore, some bribes, some prisons, a lot of things. And now NATO has signed an arrest warrant for Ibrahim Traore. This has been like 5 days ago, 6 days ago. They sent the U.S. general to criticizing him and trying to send the public notification that Ibrahim Traore is now a wanted man. But for you to understand that, we're gonna have to go back to Libya, why they kill Gaddafi. I mean, why they kill people like Lumumba, Mandela's, and stuff like that. It's a lot of story, but I'm just gonna break it down. All right, and this here on TikTok explain it better why at least Ibrahim Traore is picking up against the Western, which is they don't want anything good coming out of Africa. So let me play, and then we're gonna listen to the Captain Ibrahim Traore himself.
It's not even an NGO, because NGO stands for non-governmental organization, are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you, to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such?
So what he just said, that they've managed to manipulate half of the population in the Sahel region. If you don't know, the Sahel region is like Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, Gambia, Southern Morocco, Mali and stuff like that. It's part of the Sahel. All right. So remember when Ben Ali of Tunisia left the country, it's because NATO managed to manipulate half of Tunisians' population so they can turn against their president, because apparently the president was a dictator, which is, for me, a dictatorial regime. It works better for me than democracy, where everybody's coming and blah 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 a lot and stuff like that, and nothing is going on. But when you are a dictator, then you dictating things. Look, a country like Saudi Arabia, Japan, China, Russia. Those countries, they are the most feared countries in the world, because they are being ruled the country according to what God has said it must be. Like people there in ancient Babylonia, in ancient Israel, they were not democracy. People were revolting every time, but they were not democracy. People used to rule the kingdom according to the God principles, right? There will be a king who will be there, and he's gonna rule us. They will put things there for us. You are not there to contemplate, right? No, it's not gonna work like that, right? So they turn against Ben Ali of Tunisia, They had to bring some people from other Arab countries and rioting in Tunisia's day in Tunis and stuff like that until Ben Ali got sent in exile in some other country in the Middle East. Uh, because these people, this is what they want. They don't want your country to be good. And as long as you become a dictator, then you've got a problem with them because dictatorial regime always provide the best for the country. Look at Rwanda from 1994 up to 2025. That's like 31 years old. 31 years old, and Rwanda is completely changed. Now look at those countries that they always change the president after 5 years. 5 years, there's nothing major that's growing over there. So they've manipulated half of this Burkinabe's population so those people can turn against Ibrahim Traore and selling him out to the Americans. I came from Congo. This is what happened to Lumumba. Lumumba had been sold out by Mobutu. They gave Mobutu money. Yo, you know what? We're gonna give you some cash. You're gonna have to sell out this guy, and you're gonna becoming our allies and stuff like that. This again happened for this country, Burkina Faso, right? Thomas Sankara's and Blaise Compaoré. Blaise Compaoré also sold Thomas Sankara to the West, and then it's happened again. So people from Burkina Faso, they've got a lot of things to teach us, and they've got a lot of things to learn from the past because this happened to their country. Therefore, anybody who's gonna sell out this Ibrahim Traore, I mean, it's gonna be a war. Like the war is going to be so big, even the net is not gonna manage to cease fire in this country, Burkina Faso. You see, that's why
significant weaponry into their ranks. It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset.
Wow. This speech, it's actually pulling out the strings out of world leaders because he's just spread everything out. They don't like Africans to prosper. They want to control Africans so bad. I really, sincerely, I don't understand. I don't know if you have an answer. Please, man, drop the answer in the comment below. Why are the Western, they like to control Africans so bad? They want to control Africans so bad. Leave Africans alone. What's going on with you? Why don't you just go in your country and control your people? Like, you got 350 million people in America. You have 750 million people in Europe. Why don't you control them? You know what I'm saying? So this is why they kill Gaddafi, the same NGO that's staying for non-governmental whatever thing. They want to come everywhere. They were telling like they're gonna stop the war, but they creating rebellions, and those rebellions, they're revolting against their own because some of the black people don't think right. And when you are poor enough, I mean, the bribe is going to be accepted very quickly, and you're gonna turn against your people, and you're gonna start to accommodate the foreign forces, right? Just what happened in Pakistan right now. The journalist had to ask the guy um, about why Pakistan has been involved in supporting other military needs to some other country, and then the guy told them like, we are actually regretting right now because we've been paid by the US and the UK to do so, and the journalist didn't say anything else because she thought like the Pakistanis are the people that are creating chaos, but they have their grandfathers. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's really crazy.
But it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. It should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself, which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them. And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black.
So he was talking about the France during the Second World War. France couldn't defend themselves, and they had to call Africans to come and defend themselves. So this is it. I mean, like, I'm gonna just trying to find out some tangible information so you can see like really what happened. So I'm gonna start with why. I'm gonna have to go with why the Western killed Gaddafi. Right, the killing of Muammar Gaddafi, the long-time ruler of Libya, in October 2011 was the result of a complex mix of internal uprising, NATO military intervention, and the geopolitical interest, not a direct, openly declared assassination by the West, that was the biggest assassination, but it was like, it's a murder actually, like a biggest one, right? Okay, so why was Gaddafi was killed? Okay, as an African, as a Pan-African, the first thing that why Gaddafi was killed, the number one reason without ChatGPT, with just like a general knowledge, the reason why Gaddafi was killed, it's because the reason why he was killed is because, first of all, he wanted Africa for one Africa for everybody, right? That's the reason number one he was killed. He wanted one currency for Africa. Like the euros, they've got one currency, right? Because he knew, like, with the mineral resources that Africa has, we're gonna have a lot of things. We're gonna have a lot of gold to back up our African's currency. We have a lot, right? Congolese itself mineral resources, it's estimated to be at least 25 trillions, right? If it's being exported or produced properly. Without South Africa, without Botswana, without Namibia, without other country, Mali, Ghana, and stuff like that. All those countries in West Africa, right? So that's the reason number one why Gaddafi was killed. Reason number two, why did Gaddafi was killed? It's because Gaddafi always said no to the Western. Gaddafi never wanted so much help for the Western. All right. So here's what they say. In early 2011, protests against Gaddafi rule broke out into Libya as part of the wider Arab Spring. Gaddafi responded with a brutal crackdowns on protesters, which escalated into civil war. And then NATO came, right? In March 2011, the UN Security Council passed a resolution 1973 authorizing a no-fly zone over Libya and allowing all necessary measures to protect civilians. Apparently, NATO came and said, like, they're going to have to protect civilians. You're going to protect civilians from which country? Who allowed you to come inside to protect civilians? Where there is a war in Sudan, Somalia, Congo, Yemen, Myanmar, Syria, you've never got to protect. You don't go to protect people in Israel, in Palestine. Why only Libya? Right? NATO led by France, the UK, and the US launched an air campaign that crippled Gaddafi's forces and tipped the balance toward the rebels. Western geopolitical interests. Gaddafi had antagonized the West for decades, though he had partially reconciled in the 20s, in the 2000s. He pushed for a Pan-African unity, an independent African currency, and nationalized Libyan oil, challenging Western economic dominance. So, if you trying to push your agenda, if you want to push your currency, if you want to push your economy, and then for 54 countries, 60 countries in Africa, they saw that's going to be a biggest challenge just because they eat a lot of out of African plates. Whether from you're from Europe, you are from whatever, Americans and Europeans, they can't leave African cake because it's one of the sweetest, the bestest cake in the world. This is the biggest major reason why Gaddafi was killed. So, in Ibrahim Traore is trying to do the same, chasing the French, collecting their own gold, manufacturing their own missiles, their own aircraft, their own armory, their own everything, oil, like every single thing. They don't need anything to be imported in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso. And now the worst thing are saying this guy's committing a crime to us, not to his people, because he hasn't killed anybody in Burkina Faso. And this is the major reason why the Western are trying to kill this brother over here. Unfortunately, we no longer kids anymore. If somebody touch Ibrahim Traore, we're gonna burn down some embassies in America, some embassies of America in the entire Africa. We're gonna burn them down. Like what happened to Congo recently? Kagame troops entered Goma, and some embassies were burned down, like to the ground. The embassy of France burned down. The embassy of America burned down. Like this is gonna be the entire Africa. We no longer gonna need those people to come and manipulate us, to attack us, and to bring some stupidity, more or less. They don't even, what kind of moral lesson are we gonna learn from the worst? The killers. All right. Somebody had to ask me on TikTok about the invasions. Europeans colonized Africans. They brought it came with advantage. What kind of advantage? Advantage of speaking English or French or stuff like that? No. Africa had their own way of developing themselves. And I told clearly those guys, the only development that came from Europe is a killing development, because we never know how to kill until European came. People used to work half naked in Africa. Nobody know how to rape until the oppressor came and started to envy people because they see boobs and shit like that. And then decided to rape our ancestors and stuff, right? We never had those kind of things. So Europe has been involved in wars. If you look at the Vikings, the French revolutions, the Welsh, if you ever watch Spartacus is just gonna tell you like everything. Europeans, they like to fight so much. It's been in them, unfortunately. Well, at least now, but they give that torch to the Americans. No, now America, that's always what they want. So this is the reason why they want to kill the Captain Ibrahim Traore. And unfortunately, this time it's not going to happen because they've been trying so hard. But we're praying for him and we're going to stand up for him. So if you have anything to share with me, drop in a comment below, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, and to share on your story. Ciao.